Community development encompasses four major teams within Worthing Homes. That's Red Ashore, which is the telecare arm of the organisation, the Supported Living Service, which covers the 7 schemes across Worthing, also resident involvement and our work with the residents across the whole of the organisation. And it also covers Community House, which works out of East Worthing but is increasingly beginning to work in other areas of Worthing, targeting specifically people in poorer areas dealing with difficult issues within their lives. There is no one day that is ever typical of our work within the community development team, because frankly any day and all days usually take a direction that you weren't necessarily expecting. And I'm going to go through each individual team and how they would be affected by the day's events. I'll start again with Red Ashore. Red Ashore, unlike the rest of Worthing Homes perhaps, is not just covering our own residents. It covers customers from across the length and breadth of Worthing, and we go as far west as Bognor and as far east as Southwick and into the hinterland as far as Stenning. Within that area, a number of things will happen to people within a day that we need to deal with. So we will get phone calls from people looking for a new service, which we make appointments for a free, no obligation visit. There will be people ringing up to say that there's a problem with their service and can we come and fix it. Obviously, they rely on this service. They expect it to work 100% of the time. So our motivation will be to fix it as quickly as possible, and we try to fix it within the day. On top of that, there are a range of other people who will need to have their service checked, which we do on a regular basis. And of course, then there's the actual visits out into the community to connect people and to make the changes that are required. That is often the first point of call that we have with the individual face-to-face. And quite often, these are people for whom this may be the only person that they see in a day. So, although for us this visit is very centred around the work we have to do, there's also a wider remit that we offer in the way that we connect with people, because for some people that is a major event in their day. It's also an opportunity for us to talk to them about the service that we offer and to make sure they understand what we cover with them. As well as that, of course, my staff team also has to deal with the call centre, because we have a call centre that backs us up. Every time someone presses a button, pulls a cord, it goes to the call centre and they call through to the person to find out what's going on. Those, the people who pull their button or pull their cord, press their button, expect that service to work. We have to make sure that that service has the most up-to-date information available about Red Ashore's individual customers. So if Mrs. Jones has a change of contacts, because they have to have 3 contacts that we can get in touch with, if they have a change of contacts, we not only have to put it on our system, we have to make sure that Careline knows for their system. So it's a varied job. It will vary from day to day because of the differences and the different things that will happen. Equally, we also do a wide range of events and fairs which we use to try and highlight the work of the organisation to ensure that we keep getting new people joining us. The Supported Living Service encompasses 7 schemes across Worthing. There's Pearson's Retreat in the east, Clifton and Chestnut Court in central Worthing, and then in the west there's Elizabeth House, Davenport and Lovett Court, and then towards Findon there's Wisdom Court. We have 4 support coordinators who cover these schemes, and in total we're looking at about 280 individual flats and therefore tenants. For the staff of this particular part of the organisation, again, I wouldn't say that any one particular day was ever the same, because we're dealing with people. A lot can happen to people in their lives in the space of 24 hours. Sometimes, at worst, my staff will encounter people who have actually died within their property, and they will be the first person that notes this, because they'll be checking on the individuals. Sometimes they're helping people with individual issues around their housing benefit, making sure they've filled in the forms once they first arrived as a tenant of ours. Because obviously the longer it takes for that process, the longer it takes for housing benefit to come through, which is a bit of a stressor for the tenant, especially when we're obviously looking for rent to be paid. They also deal with a wide range of other issues that are related to the individual around their social welfare, their connection to other services. Quite often, especially now with the withdrawal of other services within the community, the support coordinators are the first and maybe only people in a community actually dealing with people on the ground. So they are not just a signpost to other organisations, they're also the first people to flag up a safeguarding issue or a particular problem that an individual's having for which another organisation might help. There's only 4 of them. They cover 280 very busy tenant lives over a number of years. Their knowledge of the individuals is profound, and their ability therefore to deal with them in the way that they want with the issues that they have is significant. Resident involvement in a way is pretty much explained by its name, but there's a lot goes into this particular role. Resident involvement is how we engage with the members of our community. And by community, I'm not just talking residents, because we've got some leaseholders, we've got some shared owners out there. And it's the way we engage with them, and it's how we work with them to improve our service. It's getting them involved in our service, but it's also, as part of the community development team, it's also about how we engage within the communities and help to improve those communities. There's a lot of work to be done out there in helping people get back into employment and working to make sure that we have an increased level of operability on the part of our tenants of computer systems, because we're moving to modern working, and inevitably there's an expectation within that they will be able to operate basic computer systems to be able to organise their rent and payments, etc. So resident involvement has a very broad spectrum of work across a number of different areas. It's not just covering a particular group, it's all residents, it's all customers. And it's, when I talk about how we engage with them, it's the different structures that we've got in place, be that a residents panel or a neighbourhood group. It's how we engage with those to make sure that we have input with them, but also they've got an input with us, so that what they say actually does come back to Worthing Homes, and that where possible we can act on this. We want to be seen as an organisation which is delivering healthy communities, and for that to happen, what we need to do is to be able to listen as much as speak. And there's a lot people need to say. Within resident involvement in the coming year or so, we're looking at different ways to engage with people and different ways that we can work within communities to help communities thrive. There's no 2 days ever the same in Community House. Centred in East Worthing on Dominion Road, Community House provides a wide variety of services and activities for the people within that area. We are looking not just at specific age groups, there's different things for different age groups, but what it does tackle is a lot of people's issues that, for whom there is very little support elsewhere. People come in who may have been recently made unemployed, have got problems with benefits, how to sort that out. Recently there was a man came in who's just been put on universal credit, and he was the first person put on universal credit for his particular age group in Worthing, and he didn't know because actually the job centre didn't know some of the answers to some of his questions. Community House was able to sort that out. Community House provides a place where people can meet and discuss common problems and find some joint solutions. It also provides, as I said earlier, a range of activities for different age groups, and they can be like the crew for young people, which is a mixture of activities and learning. There's also internet clubs there that are looking to increase people's ability to use the internet. And there's also job skills activities through that, about how we can learn to use the internet, and therefore how I can actually get a better job because I'm able to supply a CV and other required formats. It's a valuable resource in a community that doesn't have many resources. This is why we're actually in the second tranche of funding from the lottery fund, which has been incredible and has made a real difference to the community. The police force in the area have actually said that they believe that Community House has been responsible for a reduction in some of the issues that they've had to deal with in East Worthing, because it provides a valuable release valve for some of the issues and problems that people have got, and somebody there who will listen and know something about how to go forward. In the future, we're looking to extend what Community House does by actually increasing its involvement in other communities across Worthing, because there are other pockets of deprivation in Worthing that could also benefit from the work of Community House. So increasingly, we're looking to see some work happen in West Worthing, in the kind of Maybridge, Castle Ward area, and maybe beyond. Maybe we'll even look at Felpham in the near future. There are many reasons why I like my job in Worthing Homes, in fact more than you've got time for. I believe in what I'm doing. I believe in our mission, because I think it is everything that I want to achieve in my working day. We need to be able to provide quality homes in thriving communities, and that's what I see Community Development Team being able to do in its own small way. We're a very outward-facing part of the organisation. We're usually the first people that tenants, residents, customers will come and see at any point in time, because they already know us. We're out there, we're dealing with their issues on a day-to-day basis. I really enjoy working with the staff that I've got, and I enjoy the fact that we're able to bring some clarity and solutions to many of the problems that people face. And that's one of the main motivators for me. It's what gets me up in the morning and keeps me getting up every day. Resident involvement in the future is going to be perhaps radically different from what it has been to date. We're looking to see it more actively engaged within communities across Worthing, with our residents and the wider community. We're looking to be on the ground far more often, and to be talking to people, listening to people, and trying to create the kind of services, be it training and support services, or the kind of meetings and panels that will help us shape the future of our organisation. And obviously it's important that the residents are front and centre of that. Presently, resident involvement covers a number of different areas. We've got the resource centre just outside the main office, through which we provide a number of different training and educational opportunities. And we've also got the Love It Hub. The Love It Hub is a relatively new service. It's only been going for about the last 9 months or so. But this is a service in Maybridge, which is a key development. There is not a lot available in the Maybridge area. This can change a lot of people's lives by providing activities within that area that are what they need, that will help them to gain employment, will help them to gain educational opportunities, or also provide them with just some activities for their particular age group within that community. It's a major opportunity for Worthing Homes to show a real commitment to that community, and it's already begun. We at present have virtually no spare space, spare capacity within Love It Hub for other activities. I think the interesting thing about it, though, is that since we've opened it, the residents of Love It Court, which is one of the sheltered schemes, have actually started to take more of an interest as well. We've been working with all of the different schemes for the last year in trying to get the residents to be more engaged and involved, and to start doing things for themselves and not expect Worthing Homes to lead their activities. And this was best exemplified in Love It Court recently, when over Christmas, and there were actually no activities on Christmas Day, they asked if they could actually use the hub to cook a Christmas lunch for all of the members of that community. This may not seem like much, but this is a significant change, because to date it had been very difficult to get the people in Love It Hub to come together and coalesce around some common issues and to actually start to work together on some common activities. For them to do this was a major development. The fact that Love It Hub is out there means that they actually have the opportunity to use it. Now, the next step is, of course, to see other people in the community, not just saying, yes, I'd like to go to that event, but actually, what about this event? And start to ask us and start to help us set the agenda for what the Love It Hub is going to be in the future. And that's the challenge, and that's really exciting. Felpham is probably one of the new opportunities for resident involvement. As you may know, Felpham is some miles from Worthing and is also quite an isolated community. And we have a number of residents living in that area, quite a few of which are single-parent families, and there's quite a high level of unemployment. So there are some social deprivation indicators there. It's a great opportunity for resident involvement, and one we're keen to pursue, because there are things that we can bring to these particular residents, which is not something that is brought to them by other parts of Worthing Homes. Resident involvement is unique in the way that it works with residents and the things that it's trying to achieve. And within Felpham, what we're looking to do is to try and create some kind of community ethos and spirit amongst the people who live in that area. That won't just be, inevitably, won't just be our tenants, but it's not just about appealing just to our tenants or residents, it's about appealing to that wider community. It's about creating a community vibe that's based around certain activities that are going on, creating representation, certainly for the residents with Worthing Homes. And we'll be doing that through the resident panel, which I'll come to in a moment. But it's also about working with the local authority, because they're building a community centre there, so that we've got a bit of a stake in that, and through that, so have our residents, to ensure that there is some work being done there that represents what they need, rather than just a menu of things that are generally offered, but things that are quite specific to what they're actually interested in. So resident involvement will provide a bit of a conduit between our residents and some of the other things going on in the area. At times, it's also about making sure that we help our residents to be represented within some of the issues that are being taken about that area. And again, that's one of the unique aspects of what resident involvement will be doing. And we look forward to this immensely, because it's a great opportunity to be able to show what we can do to be able to give the residents something extra other than just about bricks and mortar. It's the soft issues, but it's those that will make the community. I'm often asked what the challenges are in my role and what would I do to change things. Actually, I see my role as being about making change. I see the community development team's role as about effecting change. So yeah, there are challenges, but that's why we're here, and what we intend to do is to overcome those challenges. Our residents face a number of challenges, and it will depend on their individual circumstances. So all I can do is generalise from here, but a lot of people are facing some really difficult issues because of benefit changes. They make no account of people's individual abilities or the efforts that they're making to actually find work and be able to dig themselves out of some pretty tricky situations. Our job, as I see it in part, is to try and help them to find that work, because once they're in work, their whole situation changes, life changes, your ability to be able to afford things changes. Everything from paying your rent through to decent food on the table and presents for your children at Christmas. Those kind of things can make a lot of difference to people's lives. Sometimes I'm surprised by just how complex some of those situations are, and just how intractable it is and how difficult it is to be able for people to dig their way out. But that's where our job comes in. As an organisation, I think we all have an ability to speak and to be able to find solutions for people within our own work, which will be able to help them get over that hump, be able to make that change. All of my team already work in the community in one way or another most of the time. Perhaps modern working is going to give us the ability to just be more dynamic, to offer more consistently. so that we won't have to go back to the office to type things up. We'll be able to do it where we are. Our presence, therefore, in the community will be greater. That being in the community more means the opportunities for people to engage with us on a range of issues, whatever they really want to come and talk to about, is greater. And that, I think, serves us as an organisation. It means that we're better in touch with the people that we serve. It means we're more responsive to the people that we serve. And it also, I think, means that they will actually get something from that because they'll know that we're there. We are more visible, and that's got to be a good thing.